Hi, I'm Matthew Kelly, and welcome back to Radical and Relevant. Each day we take a few moments to reflect on the gospel together. Today's reading, Jesus is moving on, and he has just left his hometown of Nazareth, and he's working his way really away from his hometown and having a very different experience than he had in his hometown. Today's reading is from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 4, verses 31 through 37. And he went down to Capernaum, a city of Galilee, and he was teaching them on the Sabbath. And they were astonished at his teaching, for his word had authority. And in the synagogue there was a man who had a spirit of an unclean demon. And he cried out in a loud voice, "Ah, what have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are. You are the Holy One of God." But Jesus rebuked him, saying, "Be silent and come out of him." And when the demon had thrown him down in the midst, he came out of him, having done him no harm. And they were all amazed and said to one another, "What is this word? For with authority and power he commands the unclean spirits, and they come out." And reports of Jesus went out into every place in the surrounding region. So is there a word or a phrase that jumps out at you today? A phrase that jumped out at me was, the people were astonished at his teaching, for his word had authority. Jesus had no worldly authority. There are lots of people in the Gospels who had lots of worldly authority. But where did Jesus' authority come from? Well, it came from his authenticity. He came from his truth. It came from his very being as the way, the truth, and the life. I think very often people want to use authority to get other people to do things, but for the most part, we're most interested in following authenticity. Most human beings react a little bit if someone tries to use some badge of authority to suppress them or coax them or force them to do something they don't feel is necessary, or they don't feel they just don't feel like doing. So that's what jumped out at me, and the idea that it's authenticity that gave his words authority, not any worldly institution or somebody saying, "You should listen to this guy, he's got the truth." And I think from that we have to ask ourselves, what does it mean for you and I to live authentically in the world? What does it mean for you and I to show up authentically as a friend, as a husband, as a wife, as a mother, as a father, as a brother, as a sister, as an employee, as an employer? What does it mean for us to show up authentically as Christians in the modern world? Have a great day. Remember, be authentic and be bold and be Catholic.